All right, the children, you were encouraged to seek wisdom. Do you know what the beginning is of wisdom? Fear of God is the beginning of wisdom. So if you fear God don't be afraid of what your friends think. Just do what's right in what you know, what your parents taught you, and then you will have wisdom. That's very important. And that's actually what my title of my message is today is the fear of God. So when we think about our father Abraham, he was a man that feared God. He was willing to follow God. He was willing to go away from his kinsfolk to a better place that God had for him. So I want to read from the Glaubenschrift, or the Hall of Faith. Some people call it Hebrews 11. It's the people that were moved by the fear of God, that they were willing to be forsaken by others to follow after God. And so Hebrews 11, now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. For by it the elders obtained a good report. Through faith we understand that the worlds were framed by the word of God, so that the things which are seen were not made of things which do appear. By faith Abel offered unto God a more excellent sacrifice than Cain, by which he obtained witness that he was righteous, God testifying of his gifts, and by it he, being dead, yet speaketh. By faith Enoch was translated that he should not see death, and was not found, because God had translated him. For before his translation he had this testimony that he pleased God. But without faith it is impossible to please him. For he that cometh to God must believe that he is, and that he's a rewarder of them that diligently seek him. By faith Noah, being warned of God of things not seen as yet, moved with fear, prepared an ark to the saving of his house, by the which he condemned the world, and became the heir of righteousness which is by faith. So if Noah would have if he would have been afraid of what his neighbors thought of him about building a boat, he would have never gotten it done. So that's the importance of having a fear of God. By faith, Abraham, when he was called to go out into a place which he should after receive for an inheritance, obeyed, and he went out, not knowing whither he went. By faith, he sojourned in the land of promise, as in a strange country, dwelling in tabernacles with Isaac and Jacob, the heirs with him of the same promise. For he looked for his city which hath foundations, whose builder and maker is God. Through faith also Sarah herself received strength to conceive seed. And Sarah, if she wouldn't have believed God, she would have never conceived. And so that's why she had a son, Isaac. And was delivered of a child when she was past age, because she judged him faithful who had promised. Therefore sprang there even of one, and him as good as dead, so many as the stars of the sky in multitude, and as the sand which is by the sea shore innumerable. These all died in faith, not having received the promises, but having seen them afar off, and were persuaded of them, and embraced them, and confessed that they were strangers and pilgrims on the earth. For they that say such things declare plainly that they seek a country. And truly, if they had been mindful of the country from whence they came out, they might have had opportunity to have returned. But now they desire a better country, that is, an heavenly. Wherefore God is not ashamed to be called their God, for he has prepared for them a city. By faith Abraham, when he was tired, offered up Isaac, and he that had received the promises offered up his only begotten son. What a beautiful picture of Abraham, willing to give up his son, just like God gave up Jesus. I actually believe Abraham, he was going to do it, and he was probably thinking, well, God will raise him up somehow, or something will happen. He was fully obedient to God, no matter if it goes against God's commandments to kill. He was listening to the voice of God. By faith, of whom it was said that in Isaac shall thy seed be called, accounting that God was able to raise him up even from the dead, from whence also he received him in a figure. By faith, Isaac blessed Jacob and Esau concerning things to come. By faith, Jacob, when he was dying, blessed both the sons of Joseph and worshiped, leaning upon the top of his staff. By faith, Joseph, when he died, made mention of the departing of the children of Israel and gave commandment concerning his bones. By faith, Moses, when he was born, was hid 3 months of his parents because they saw he was a proper child, and they were not afraid of the king's commandment. So they feared God over the king's commandment. By faith, Moses, when he was come to years, refused to be called the son of Pharaoh's daughter, choosing rather to suffer the affliction with the people of God than to enjoy the pleasures of sin for a season, esteeming the reproach of Christ greater riches than the treasures in Egypt, for he had respect unto the recompense of the reward. By faith he forsook Egypt, not fearing the wrath of the king, for he endured as seeing him who is invisible. Through faith he kept the Passover and the sprinkling of blood, lest he that destroyed the firstborn should touch them. By faith they passed through the Red Sea as by dry land, which the Egyptians, essaying to do, were drowned. By faith the walls of Jericho fell down after they were compassed about 7 days. By faith the harlot Rahab perished not with them that believed not, when she had received the spies with peace. So I read recently harlot Rahab. Harlot is actually an innkeeper. So I don't know if she was actually a harlot. But, I mean, to me, it's hard to believe that somebody like that would have faith. So I'm not here to say that she wasn't a harlot, but she was an innkeeper, and that's why she brought the spies in. And what shall I more say? For the time would fill me to tell of Gideon and of Barak and of Samson and of Jephthah, of David also, and Samuel, and of the prophets, who through faith subdued kingdoms, wrought righteousness, obtained promises, stopped the mouth of lions, quenched the violence of the fire, escaped the edge of the sword. Out of weakness were made strong, waxed valiant in fight, turned to flight the armies of the aliens. Women received their dead, raised to life again, and others were tortured, not accepting deliverance that they might obtain a better resurrection. And others had trial of cruel mockings, scourgings, yea, moreover, of bonds and imprisonment. They were stoned, they were sawn asunder, were tempted, were slain with a sword. They wandered about in sheepskin and goatskins, being destitute, afflicted, tormented. So can you imagine what went through some of these people, the martyrs that have gone before us? They were killed. They were cut in pieces. And they were willing to not give up their faith. They were willing to stand up for what is right. Of whom the world was not worthy. They wandered in deserts and in mountains and dens and caves of the earth. And these all, having obtained a good report, through faith received not the promise. God having provided some better thing for us, that they without us should not be made perfect. And so, Ephesians 2:8, it says, for by grace you are saved through faith. It is the gift of God. It is not of works, lest any man should boast. It's the grace. I think we sometimes misuse the word grace. And the grace is the power of God to help us to overcome all our challenges, all the fears that the world tries to put on you. John 3:16, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. And sometimes I think I've taken that verse lightly too sometimes. It's like, just believe in Jesus. Is that all? Just believe in him? Do we actually believe in the words that he says? In Luke 14:26, it says, if anyone comes to me and does not hate his father and mother and wife and children, brothers and sisters, yet his very own life, also he cannot be my disciple. And whoever does not bear his cross and come after me, he cannot be my disciple. That's what it takes to be a disciple of Jesus. This is the way of the cross. God bless you all. Hopefully you can keep fighting the good fight.